What's going on, guys? So if you're new to trading, you might be wondering which stocks you should buy, especially if you don't have a huge budget or if you're just trying to get your feet wet and you're not exactly sure what to dive into. So today I'm going to cover the top 10 most popular under $50 stocks on Robinhood as of 2024. So let's dive in. So first up is Palantir Technologies, which has had a really good run this year. If you look at year to date, they are up 155, almost 156% year to date. And again, the symbol on this is PLTR, but you should be able to find them if you just Google Palantir Technologies. And this one is in the top 100 most popular stocks on Robinhood. It has definitely performed really well this year, far better than most expectations. And some are saying it's going to go even higher. We'll see. If you look at the max compared to the year to date, the performance is a little bit different. But if I go back to the year to date, obviously they've had a really good run this year. So that's one that you might consider, although again, we're not sure if they're at their peak or if it's going to keep going. You can read varying opinions online, and there's also obviously on Robinhood a lot of data that you can go through, and I'm not going to get into the weeds of that in this video, but again, just wanted to cover the top 10 for you guys to consider. Next is Ford Motor Co. They have the symbol of F. It's only $10, well $11 right now, so it's definitely on the cheaper end. They have not had as good of a year this year compared to other years in the past. As you can see, the year to date, they're actually down 9.39%. So it hasn't been a great year for them. If you look at overall, it's been a mixed bag. Last 5 years has been positive, but if you look at where it started 5 years ago versus now, it's basically flat. Although they did have a peak in 2021 and 2022 when car sales were just going through the roof. So again, this is one that is very popular on Robinhood. It's not one that I'm personally invested in right now. I've held it in the past, but that is another one to look at. But again, year to date, not doing as well as it has in the past. Another category of automotive that seems to be really popular on Robinhood is electric vehicle manufacturers, Tesla, Lucid, Rivian. So Rivian, as you can see, year to date, also not doing as well as they have in the past. Obviously, for a lot of these automotive groups, 2021 and 2022, they had breakthrough years with insane sales following the COVID pandemic. Things have definitely slowed down. So that's partially to blame, as well as politics and just everything going on with the election and uncertainty of the market. But in general, Rivian tends to be one of the most popular stocks on Robinhood for under $50. It's actually almost under $10. Right now you can get it for just shy of $11 as well. Again, year to date, they're down 52%. So it definitely has not performed well this year. And if you look at 5 years, it's gone way down since the IPO. Who's to say what'll happen with this company in the future? I'm personally not invested in it. Again, I'm just showing you guys the top 10 on Robinhood. So let's move on to the next. The next one is Carnival Corporation, Carnival Cruises, which you're probably more familiar with. They own a lot of other subsidiary cruise lines. Carnival is just the namesake. And as you can see, year to date, they're up almost 11%. So a little bit different than the automotive guys. The symbol on this is CCL, or you can just Google Carnival or find it on Robinhood that way. If we look at the max, it's kind of a mixed bag as well. They've been up and down. And for them, they're heavily influenced by, market conditions as well as world news, such as the pandemic when everything shut down. People couldn't take cruises, right? So that's when it crashed back in 2019 to 2020. You can see the crash right here. So you just got to keep that in mind when you're buying things like this. It's not a necessity. It is luxury for a lot of people. 3 months they're up, and again, year to date they're up. But if you look at the overall trajectory over the last couple of years, it's a mixed bag. I have owned Carnival in the past, and I've done really well. I might buy some again in the future, but right now I don't hold any Carnival stock. So the next one is Pfizer. This one has always been really, really popular because of the dividends. It has a pretty good dividend yield if you look down in the key statistics. Ford also has a really good dividend yield, which is also why it's probably pretty popular. Pfizer, also a mixed bag. Obviously, they were instrumental in the whole COVID crisis and coming out with vaccines, so they made a lot of money then. If you look overall 5 years, they had a peak in 2021 following the pandemic, as to be expected. And if you look at maximum time frame on Robinhood, it's also somewhat of a mix. But again, year to date, they are up. They're up only less than 1%. But again, a lot of people hold Pfizer because the dividends are pretty solid at 5.73%. Moving on to the next one is American Airlines, which is currently just under $12, so it's pretty affordable. Looking at year to date, they are down for the year. They're down 12.72%. And what's interesting about American Airlines, if you look at the year to date, they are down, but if you look at 1 year, they're actually up slightly. However, going into the longer time frame of 5 years and the maximum time frame on Robinhood, you can see that overall it has not performed that great. This is one where people tend to hold it for shorter periods of time. It's not necessarily a long-term hold. Some people may be holding it long-term, but most people that I know that hold this or have bought it in the past, it's more of a short-term play. But again, it's less than $12. American Airlines, obviously well known. I believe it's the largest airline in the world. And I think that's why it's one of the most popular on Robinhood. Okay, next is a bank stock. It's Bank of America. And this one, if you want to find it, is BAC on Robinhood. It is underneath the $50 threshold for this video. It's $42.25 as of today. And as you can see, year to date, they have performed really well compared to some of the other stocks we've looked at. They've performed almost 27% up for the year. And again, that's year to date. If we look at the 1 year history, they're also up. They're up almost 56%. 5 years, it's a little bit more of a mixed bag, but overall up. And if we look at the max time frame, they're up 81 to 82%. And again, Robinhood only goes back to 2000 on most stocks, so anything before that isn't going to be captured on the website. You can find additional data just by going online. But for the sake of Robinhood, it tracks most stocks past 2000. So you can see it's a little bit of a mix for Bank of America. Over here in 2008, obviously it dropped off just like most of the banks did, but has since recovered and had some peaks and valleys. The next is AT&T, and I've owned AT&T in the past. I don't at the moment, but I have in the past. They pay a pretty good dividend of, 5.19%, which is decent. Year to date, they are up almost 27%. And over the course of the past year, they're up almost 50%. Over 5 years, they're actually down. And for the max, they are actually down since 2000. But again, this is a really popular one on Robinhood, partially due to the dividends, but also because they've been doing really well over the last couple of years. The next one's really interesting because I actually hold some of this. It's Intel, and if you're looking for it online, it's INTC. For the last year, they are down 52%, and that's interesting just given all the AI stuff going on, as well as some of the government incentives around microchips. But you can read more into them and kind of what's going on, both on Robinhood and off Robinhood. But it is one of the most popular on Robinhood. It's less than $25 per share. And obviously over the last year, they have not done very well. They're down almost 53%, including a full 12 months, they're down almost 36%. And if you look at the 5 year and the max time frames, mixed bag, but overall down as well. So you can make money with Intel. I have made money with Intel. It's been short-term holds for me, and that's what most people are doing. But it is one of the 10 most popular under 50 stocks on Robinhood. And the number 10 most popular under $50 stocks on Robinhood is GM. They are currently just under $50 at $48.58 a share. They're up 36% year to date. If I look at the 1 year trajectory, they're up 62%. So they're bucking the trend with a lot of the other automotive groups. And if I look at the 5 year, a little bit of a mixed bag, up overall. However, it is pretty close to the start of the 5 year. And the max, they are up as well. Again, in relation to some of the other automotive stocks that are out there, GM has performed pretty well overall. Their dividend is pretty small at just less than 1%. Again, Ford's was 7 point something if I go back to it. Ford is 7.28% on the dividend yield. So that's just something to call out. But again, it is one of the top 10 most popular stocks on Robinhood under 50. So anyway, guys, if you're new to investing or just kind of curious what other people are investing in, these are the top 10 under 50 stocks on Robinhood as of 2024. And I'm sure going into the next couple of years, some of these will be very popular as well. You can actually find these for yourself on Robinhood's website just by going to the top 100 stocks and then filtering by price. You can see all the price categories for the top 100, including some that are hundreds of dollars and some that are only a couple of dollars. I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. Please smash the like button if so, and consider subscribing. I post a lot of videos about real estate investing, investing in general, and money management, as well as just some other little side hustles and hobbies such as stock photos and whatnot. So consider following along if you'd like. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time.